we start going, I just want to say appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me on. And
I
this
appreciate
has
you
some
All
good
coming.
right,
stuff.
we are live. It is Tuesday the 13th, the 12th. I think it's Tuesday
Is
the
Is the 12th. Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys for joining. First chat. I think I see Nick, SoCal Fishing Squad.
See
Hermano,
Dinks,
what's up? First chat,
Sammy.
Dinks coming in.
What's
Javi,
up, fellas?
Sammy, what's going on, man?
Dude, Sammy, I walked all around the PCS
Didn't see
and
him
I
once.
ran into, I don't know if it was your cousins or it was some relatives of yours. Oh, yeah, related to Sammy. But we never ran into you.
For sure. Oscar, what's up? Sorry, guys, I don't know you guys. Like, I know Instagram is different than YouTube.
Yeah, everyone on here just needs to change their names to match up their Instagram so we know who we're talking to.
But first of all, man, Steve, thanks for joining us today on this lovely Tuesday.
Hey, brother, I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for having me on. Like I said earlier, man.
And we're
All
pretty
right.
stoked. We're pretty stoked.
I'm back.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Fishbone Magazine for giving me this issue.
Yeah.
Pretty freaking sick. I got it signed. They have a specific page that he put out for Real Happy, and I was hanging out at the Real Happy booth towards the end of Saturday, and it's gonna sound a little what do I call it? What do you call that?
cheesy.
No.
Sure.
It's gonna sound a little what do you call that? Like when you're
Emotional?
a fan, like a fan.
Fangirling.
Fanboy. You're going to fanboy him right now.
But I got all the Real Happy team to sign my page, which is pretty freaking sick. But a big shout out to Real Happy and Fishbone Magazine for giving me this issue. And
Dude, I'm
thank you guys.
bummed I didn't pick one of those up when I was there. I didn't get the shopping done that I wanted to do. I was like, oh, I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. I got home. My wife's like, what'd you get? I was like, oh, we got so distracted by everything else. I didn't get anything. I got my rod wrapping set up, and that was it.
Oh, big shout out to Kate Credo too, because I picked up some hats from him and a Real Happy shirt. Where am I at? Real Happy shirt. So I got to walk around. But big shout outs to everybody who gave me an interview. I love you guys.
Yeah, we got to watch the Dimension pop-up performance with Rich DJ, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I seen that a bunch of people posted that stuff on social media.
It was
pretty cool. You
We
guys had to
filmed a
block
pretty good
rolling
video of it that
tracking
we're going to put out.
What's that?
I said we filmed a pretty good video of it that we're going to put out. Me and Charlie got different camera angles, the whole deal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We interviewed him before it happened too about what he was going to do. So yeah, we got a cool little thing there.
Cool little
Talking
breakdown.
about PCS, Steven, has Tackle Shack USA ever been to a show, or have you guys ever been part of a show like that?
No, you know what? We haven't. We were thinking about doing it this year. We just decided with everything going on. It's a lot to get all this stuff down there to, the people to help. It's a lot of help. It's a lot of work going on. So this year we decided to just sit back and try to check it out, see how it's going to go, see how the other stores did and everything of the sort. And next year the plan is to hit it hard. We're going to.
Yeah, it was a scene.
presence.
I really enjoyed it.
One of the things I noticed is that LA Fish Alliance, their booth was top notch. It looked like I walked into their store. I was so impressed with how they set up. It was really cool seeing all of them, but man, their booth setup was fantastic.
First of all, I want to say everybody did a great job. Everybody's booth was awesome.
From what I could see, everybody's booths they were set up top notch. Everybody.
I think what's kind of cool is
Viking Head, State Bend, all of them. From everything I could see on there,
that block was popping, man.
Well, what's also cool is it seemed like at Fred Hall in the past, you had cool stuff there. It seems like last year a couple people did really cool booths, especially last year. Real Happy had it looking like a fish market, and then right across from them you had Lateral Vision where they had like duck hunt going on, and there were other good booths too. I think that particular year Warbait had a really cool booth with the wood, but it just seemed like those couple really cool booths kind of set the bar for this is a cool
For
booth
this year?
show.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and I have a feeling that it's
What
going to
always.
be even better next year because now the other booths are having to get on
Step
that
up their
program
game.
of like, hey, this is what happens at this show.
No.
Now there's no shy to there's no how do I word this? But Kicker did a fantastic job. They coordinated
yeah.
outfits. Their whole booth was fantastic. Lane was like just looking all spiffy and ready to go, and I was just like, "Oh, you guys just killed it out here. This is more of a modeling show
I
than."
think they had a shirt for every day.
Yeah, like
Yeah, no,
a
they
different
had an
shirt all in the
outfit.
same color.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
that's
so
Yeah, their stuff's all seafoam, so every day it was a different kind of seafoam
Different
shirt where
kind
they
of
all
seafoam
matched.
shirt. That's cool.
But yeah,
it was
so
kind of
a lot-
fun.
so any
Yeah, there's
fishing
a lot
you've been
of
doing
other
lately, Steve?
There's definitely a lot you could put into it and do with it to make yourself stand out and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun one. I mean, like I said, this year looked pretty dope. So next year, I think it's gonna be definitely like you said. It's it's gonna step up. Set the bar to be stepped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I particularly like the Kicker booth because I'm the seafoam guy. I don't know if you can tell by the wall behind me.
So
Did the wall in my room, boat, all of it.
One of the things I noticed is that the LA building and the Anaheim building, I think, were by far the best buildings out there. The amount of chatter, the amount of just talk and buzz and people going in and out. Like I went to all the buildings on Sunday. Yes, I get it. It's Sunday, so it's a little bit less crowded.
Little less crowded.
He froze.
Oh, he froze.
He
There you
froze.
go. Look, you got to take a picture of that one right
He's
there.
gone. But he's right. It was active in those two buildings.
Yeah,
We didn't. I don't even think we went to any other buildings, huh, Luke?
we went in every build. I checked out the whole show I might have missed some booths here and there, but we were there for what, like 10 hours on Sunday at least. We ended up hanging out so much we didn't really buy all the stuff I wanted to buy, but we made some new connections and we got some announcements we're going to be making in the future. But there's definitely some networking that happened and some stuff that will be coming up down the road here.
Always those shows. That's what it's all about, man. Get out there, meet new people, put your face out in front of the industry. That's pretty much how I did it. I mean, I've been going to the Fred Hall show since. Damn, I don't even want to put my age out there, but yeah, I've been there for a while.
Yeah, and, the Fred Hall show was always cool, and it was always such a scene.
Yeah.
But last year topped the best Fred Hall show that I'd been to.
Bart
and
Hall,
this year topped. No, it used to be Fred Hall.
It used
Bart
to be
Hall's
Fred Hall.
You said last
Bart
year.
Hall's. Okay. Last year's PCS.
He's talking about the PSC.
Oh,
topped
PCS.
any Fred Hall show that has ever been.
Yeah.
And no Bart Hall show has come close to a Fred Hall show. But this year's PCS just blew last year's out of the water.
Oh, I think by far one of the best shows I've been to. Everybody was vibing good,
So let's move this forward a little. Just so everyone knows, I finished my captain's license exam. So I'll be getting those results. I should have the results by the next show.
Big claps.
Hopefully I'm not taking those tests again.
On that, man. Congrats.
Thank you. I think I did good, but there's such a small margin for error because some of the tests, the hardest test has to be passed with a 90%. So it having such a small margin for error, you never know. But yeah, hopefully next week I'm announcing that I've passed and have my captain's license.
Captain Luke.
Yeah, in the meantime, let's move forward and let's talk about how your shop got started.
No, hold on.
Well,
Have you
yes,
fished
yes.
lately?
No, that's what I want to talk
Have
about.
you fished lately?
No, I've been studying.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I just went out. I went out. What was it? Saturday. I think Saturday I was out there. Yeah.
Anything good?
Nothing good. I mean, it was.
That's usually what people say when they do kill it.
Yeah.
Did
You know what?
you-
The bite was tough. You know,
you
you
go out
guys
to
can go on the
Castaic?
results. No, actually, I went up to Pyramid. I didn't,
Okay.
brain farted. I didn't realize there was a tournament going on that day. I went up there and we just were, messing around, shooting. I went with my old partner, my old fishing partner. He doesn't tournament fish anymore either. And we were just up there messing around, just throwing baits around, trying to see where they were at, see if we could find them. And luckily we got on the water, I think about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we had maybe seven good bites by 12 o'clock, and then we were able to get off the water. So, and then I seen the results of the tournament that was out there, and I was like, damn, man, we should have fished the damn tournament. I think first place, I think maybe was 14 pounds. It might have been 12, but I think it was 14 pounds or something like that. So it was a cool, it's fun to get out there every once in a while. I don't get out to fish much anymore, with the shop and the other business and stuff. So it's fun when I get out there. It's always fun just to get out and fish, not have to worry about competing and stuff like that.
What kind of boat do you have?
I have a 21-foot hawk. It's basically I guess when champion the Steve Starks or whatever his name is, he left champion. He created the hawk boat which ended up turning into the Viper boat. So nice. And now the Legend. So.
And that's the one you have wrapped with Tackle Shack?
No. That was another boat that was a partner of mine that he had his boat wrapped, and then he ended up selling that boat and getting rid of it and stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, my boat's not wrapped. It's just sitting there, basic bass boat. That way nobody sees when I'm out in the water.
Keeping it a secret.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
I just keep myself out there. I fish alone a lot. When I go out, I fish alone. It's usually my time to get out there and just clear my mind and relax and do my thing. It's usually when you have someone on the boat, you get a little too worked up on trying to get them on fish and trying to catch fish and start moving around a lot. So I like to just relax.
It's funny. I'm always interested when I talk to someone who's so completely the opposite of what I do. If I go out by myself, I just end up talking to myself and feel like a weirdo. I need to have someone there to chat with.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I talk to myself too. I just don't consider myself a weirdo.
And then I had my boat all incognito.
He don't consider himself a weirdo.
I blasted my name down the side so everyone knows. Yourself.
Everyone knows that Luke's out in the water. Oh, I saw the Artemis in the water.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I blasted the name down the side. I'm like, everyone who wants to say hi, come up and say hi.
The best part about Luke having Artemis on the side of his boat is that if he ever rolls back into the back bays of Long Beach, they know immediately who it is.
Yeah.
So he's got to paint it black or something. So every time he's like, "No, I've never been back here before. This is my first time in all of Long Beach."
You know what? I stopped going to the back bays because I got
pull off at the end of the day.
Well, I got tired of being hassled in the back bays. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna go out to the wall and try to smack some fat ones.
Man, I remember. Like I said, I've been fishing for a long time, and I remember we used to kayak back in the bays up in Long Beach. Probably, I want to say late 90s, early 2000s. We were back there, and we used to. I mean, way before 9/11 and all that. So we used to fish. I mean, pretty much anywhere we wanted back there. They wouldn't tell us anything. So we used to, back then when we used to catch spotties, we used to make fun of each other.
Well, you know what?
It wasn't a deal. It was like,
I think people still make fun of it.
Well, no,
and for anybody out there that says spotty fishing is easy, it's really not.
Oh, it's not.
Charlie, we just make fun of you. That's it. We don't. Not everybody makes fun of each other. It's just you.
You're stupid.
Just you. But it's cool back there. I like the ocean. That's where I really started out, was in the ocean. Everybody starts trout fishing when you're younger, but in the ocean is that's where it kick started for me.
Yeah, it makes me laugh how trout fishing became that gateway drug to the amount of poles behind me. Yeah, your whole store behind you. It just, everybody has that, my uncle or grandma or somebody took me down to trout fish, and you know what? I just got hooked.
Yeah, that's how it was, man. That's I just from a kid, I mean 2-3 years old, I can remember we were always, as a kid, my dad, when my dad passed away when I was young, so when he was around, I mean, anytime he would get us out in the outdoors. We were either hunting, we were fishing, we were camping, we were getting into some kind of mess out there, dirty. So, and it just seemed every time we were out somewhere near water, and everybody, all the cousins and everybody else was out running around, running amok, I just wanted to be there with the fishing pole in my hand. I didn't care what it was, back when you're little like that, throwing night crawlers on a bobber and bluegill one cast, a bass another cast, and you think you're doing hot shit, but
dude, I'm gonna tell you,
you were doing hot shit.
I'm gonna tell you, when my dad first, got me into fishing, it wasn't fancy, nothing fancy, dude. My mom used to make us bait out of flour and water, right? For bluegill, just for bluegill. Bluegill was fun to me. And of course, we would catch for my dad to eat, because my dad liked bluegill. And dude, it was like everybody's, like my sister, my cousins, they're all playing in the playground. I'm like, I don't want to leave. Yeah, like my mom's like, we gotta go, and I'm like, no, I don't want to leave yet. Dude,
you're still like that.
I am like that. Looks like last cast.
I'm out there. I'm like that. That's for sure,
dude. I never want to leave the water,
dude. Hell no. We're out on the boat, and I'm like, all right, we're cleaning up, and Charlie's still fishing. And I'm like, hey, bro, like, come on. And he's like, oh, last cast. I'm like, how about you help us clean up the trash off the boat? Like, we're all working right now.
For the record, I always help.
No, you keep fishing.
While we're scrubbing down the boat at the landing, Charlie's down there on the docks casting out.
Yeah,
never.
Yep. I want to get a trifecta, guys. Oh God.
Hey.
One of the biggest reasons.
Hold on.
You watch the comments. Nick's gonna say something right now. Nick's gonna be like, "Yep, Charlie's fooling around again."
I guess there goes my invite. Steve's probably gonna be like, "Bob, you don't clean boats. I don't invite people that don't clean boats."
Don't worry about it, bro. I'm used to it. Don't be clean,
yeah, you'll be cleaning your boat. Charlie will be back at the ramp trying to get one more largemouth.
I'm used to that. That's what
dude.
One of the big reasons I got rid of, I had an ocean boat, back when I was, I think, like 19, 20 years old. I had a 22-foot Sea Ray. And,
nice.
And I mean, it was fun going out, and everybody wanted to go. I mean, especially, back in, 99, the gas was cheap as shit. So we were able to go whenever we wanted. And I remember we'd be out there having a good ass time, and we'd get back. And, that was the one thing that when, the old man I got the boat from, is he had instilled in my head was, you got to wash that salt off the trailer. You got to wash the salt off the engine, run, flush it, do the whole nine.
Ben just called you out.
And
what'd he say?
And I just, it's fun in the beginning, but then you get going and people are with you, and you end up getting back to the landing and, getting back to the marina and putting the boat on the trailer, getting home. And you're not going to bed till 1, 2 in the morning after cleaning these damn boats. And everybody else is already tucked away, sleep already, or drunk in the front yard chilling,
Let me tell you.
That's why we go to landings now that have washed.
Let me tell you. Luke invited me. No, he didn't really invite me. He called me and didn't expect me to go, right? He's like, dude, if any night was the night to go, it's this night. And the moon is perfect, the tide is perfect, everything is perfect. And it was a work day for me, right? And he's like, I'm like, oh, dude, I work tomorrow. He's like, I'm not telling you to come. I'm just like, I'm letting you know.
I'm letting you know.
I'm letting you know what kind of night it's going to be.
Yeah.
And he's like, but if you want to risk it, come. And I'm like, dude, of course I'm going to go.
And he's like, what time are we getting back? And I was like, we don't know. We don't know.
And I still stayed and helped them watch the boat. I got home at 4 a.m. I had to be to work at 6.
Luke is.
But hold on, was I wrong about that night?
Hell no.
I think that was your first. Was that your first 5? That was the night you got the 8-pounder.
That's the night we got the 8 pounds. We
Oh,
got double up on 8 pounders.
Yeah, we got 2 8-pounders that night.
There you go.
So,
those are
you
usually
know,
the best nights. No sleep, at work the next day, dragging your ass. I mean,
dude, I told Luke, I'm like, I'm
you
telling
wouldn't
people
change
at
it
work,
again.
that don't even want to know about fishing. I'm like, dude, you don't even know what happened.
Exactly. No,
But
I had a lot of. Go ahead.
Say that again? What's up, Steve?
Let's move into the shop.
Okay.
How did it start?
I'd like to know about the shop.
Oh man, the shop. How can I say? It's always been something that I like I said, I've been involved in the fishing scene for a long time. There used to be a shop which was almost pretty much this shop. It used to be over by where I grew up, which is over there on like Chatsworth and Sepulveda in Mission Hills. And the old man had it for 30 something years. And
Okay.
that gentleman, Val White was his name. And, he's the one that taught me how to drop shot. He's the one that taught me how to catch the striper over in, the basics of how to get started to catch the striper over at Pyramid. Just looked out for us as kids and really showed us the way. So I kind of hung out there, helped out a lot. Then, you start getting older and life takes over and you kind of,
Yep.
girls and family and things like that, kind of drifted away from the fishing. And then I got back into it, and it just so happened that gentleman had passed away, and another gentleman bought the store. And I just started going in there and started helping out in there, talking to them, letting them know the things, the stuff that I knew about the shop already because I already had been there for so long, and it just worked out. We kind of hit it off, and he kind of just showed me like kind of the business part of the tackle business, and kind of opened my eyes up to it. It's something I always wanted to do, but then when I was able to see it and actually learn it, it really interests me. And going to all the other tackle shops, growing up, grew up going to Bob Sands. I grew up going to Fishing Fools. I know Chad over at Tackle Express. So I mean, just talking to them, seeing their shops over the years, what goes on and how it grows and how fishing has grown. I mean, when I started really bass fishing was in 2000, and like consistently with the tournament fishing and got my boat and stuff like that, was in 2010, I want to say it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just the growth of bass fishing, the growth of fishing in general, like from then until like 2015, even through the recession and that whole deal that, 2008 and all that deal. After that, it just seemed to take off. And I just seen an opportunity that is something I liked. And I thought maybe like, hey, why not give it a shot, And yeah, I mean, I just decided one day to pack it up and stopped working, stopped doing construction, and found someone that was interested in helping me out to start this up. And that was it. I mean, the pandemic came around and I seen the opportunity of, nobody was working,
Mm-hmm.
everybody was, it seemed fishing had just really taken off during that time. So it was I seen it as the opportunity of, good time to get my foot in the door and open up a shop. And
That was risky, huh? COVID was risky.
Oh, it's still risky, man. It's still risky. Not just then, but yeah, you know what? It was risky to actually pull the plug and do it, and I'm, like I said, I'm thankful for the gentleman that helped me out with it, because he actually kind of like, gave me the confidence of being able to do it, so mid-COVID, I should say, a lot of people started fishing, right? And it was so hard to find stuff online because everybody was buying everything up,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then COVID starts dying out. You really see who was really into fishing and who really wasn't, right?
Mhm.
Like somebody would start a page and then start posting, right? And then that page died, right? And it was like a pre-COVID page, right?
Yeah.
And I remember people started selling their stuff, like
Oh,
that people that were not
still.
like fishing,
Yeah. And you know what's cool about that, speaking on that, is seeing the customers that came in, that really just picked it up during COVID. Like really didn't know much about it. Would come and ask a ton of questions. Go out the first 10 times and not even catch a fish, and come into the shop and hear the guys talking about, oh yeah, dude, I just tore him up over here the other day, and and they would ask questions, and little by little, you would see like, you would see them start following the pages that start talking about the guys that are, doing the YouTubes or doing the Balboas or doing the, Echo Parks or the spotted bay bass, and you start, seeing it, and you could see the excitement, that they have for the sport. And that's what draws me to the shop. Cause it reminds me of when I was a kid. It reminds me of when I wanted to learn fishing. And back when I was younger, back then all these old timers, man, they're tight-lipped. They don't share any information with you. Back then you didn't have the internet, you didn't have any of that. So to find someone that would actually just give you the time and spare their time with you and just invest the whatever their knowledge they have with you, like it was everything. Like we used to just sit there and soak it all up. Like we'd be at the lagoon and Butch Brown would be out there fishing, tearing up the largemouth, and we don't know. I have a little big 5 spinning rod in my hand, looking at this guy holding up monster bass, and we're just like wondering, like, and that guy, out of all, not a lot of people in his status, would give the time to, and he would sit there and talk with us for 30, 40, 55 minutes, an hour, nonstop, just telling us what he was doing, what he was fishing. And back then it was a lot of Huddleston and cast stake baits and stuff like that. It was all
another thing that was cool too is apparently he was in that little aluminum boat for a lot of those fish.
What's that?
Apparently he was in that little aluminum boat for all those fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's not like this guy on a $100,000 boat. It's a guy on a boat where you're like, I can get a boat like that.
Shit, I got a boat like that. That was my first boat.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's not like, it's kind of showing you like, well, you just got to put in the time, because you don't need the thing the guys on TV have.
Yeah. Exactly. And like I said, like that's what I'm getting to is like, I didn't understand, well, I'm speaking for myself, back then we didn't have the internet, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have any of that stuff. If anything, we had dial up with maybe a forum on some kind of Western bass or some forum going on or something, where people would lie and tell stories and this and that, but we didn't have this. So a lot of people didn't understand reading the water and understanding the water and the like kind of the habits of the fish, you know what I mean? No one really understood that. And a lot of these old timers already had put in the work and understood that. So it was, like I said, that's kind of like what opened my eyes to it, make me love it. And then when the internet came around, it was just, you could just sit in front of that damn computer for hours.
And it's interesting that you say that, because like growing up, it's like that. Like nobody that I knew was fishing like people that you met, right? I would just see like old timers bait and wait at my local pond, right? Trying to catch some catfish, and I never met anybody. So to my parents, like, fish don't come out in the winter. You fish in the summer, right?
Yeah.
That's not true.
There's still a lot of people that think that.
I could have been fishing year round.
And some of the best fishing's done in the winter. I mean,
that's what I'm saying, man. But there was no internet, right? Like, I mean, my parents weren't like these fishermen. But
one of my favorite comments when you're fishing and in like public locations, people are like, "Oh, I didn't know there was fish here." You're like, well, it is a body of water connected to the ocean. Like, there's a good chance there's something here. But it makes me laugh because they're always just like, they're like, man, like, what do you catch here? And I'm like, in Marina Del Rey in general, you're like, well, I mean, you want stingrays, you want sharks, it's like, you tell me what you're looking for, and it has it. Like, I've caught big bat rays out there, I've caught big shovel nose out there. It's like there's so much in this harbor that you don't even realize is actually here, and a lot of fun to catch in general.
What's funny is I can see how you can look at the harbor at a glance and go like, there's fish here. But if you sit still and look for 10 minutes, you see fish pop.
All day long. all day long.
Yeah,
That's
you
for sure.
you know the amount of people that walk up to you and it's like, "There's fish in here." I'm pretty sure they run into you, Luke, Daniel, right? Like, what are you guys fishing? Are you
Strangers
gonna
don't
keep
talk to
it?
me.
I've had I've been on some waters like up north, bodies of water which just full of docks, and I've actually had people come out of their house and I'm fishing their dock and be like, "What are you fishing for?" And you tell them like, "Oh, bass. I just caught one over there," and they're like, "What? There's bass here?" I mean, they
Yeah.
live there probably 2-3 months out of the year. You know what I mean? But yeah, they don't even realize what's in the water, what's in their backyard. Shit, I had a guy at Clear Lake back in like the early 2000s do that to me. Come out, him and his wife come out, and we're fishing some ducks, and I mean, just tearing them up. And came out and was like, "Oh man, we didn't even realize we need to get some fishing poles. We didn't realize there was." Bro, you live on
Yeah,
Clear
you
Lake.
should have told them. You should have told them. But I don't guarantee you're gonna catch them. I'm catching them, but I don't know about you.
Well, what's funny is growing up, my dad was the complete opposite. He's like, if there's water, we're going to see if there's fish. It doesn't matter if it's a puddle on the side of the road or if it's a raging river. We got rods. We're going to go test it. We're going to go throw lures. We're going to go throw bait. We're going to do something to see if there is fish there. So it's a mindset that you start off with, and then it just drives you into literal insanity. By the way.
Oh, 100%. You
That's
bring
one of
that
the
up. That's a
things.
good point you bring up because that said, it's we used to go, like I said, we did hunting a lot when we were kids, and I don't know, maybe 6 years old, and I remember us going to this one campground, and there would be like back then to me looked like a lake, but to me it was
Mhm.
now you really think about it's like a pond of water, and I would see bluegill and shit in there, and I'd be like, oh man, I'm gonna bring a fishing pole next time. And I remember next time going back, took a fishing pole, and my cheating ass took a little can of corn.
Uh-huh.
Little ass
Whatever
kid.
gets you bit.
Hey man, I didn't give a shit. I just remember I gave a shit when the game warden came up to the game warden came up to me and was like, "Hey, you can't be using corn."
You're like, oh,
I didn't.
that's not mine. That's the homeless guys like next door.
I didn't realize you
Oh,
couldn't use
man.
corn.
Yeah, you can't use corn for any kind of
Like actually, Luke?
What? Really?
Well, no, because I'll
Yeah,
hear guys talking about carp and how they use corn.
carp. You could use it for carp, but you can't.
Yeah.
use it.
So a lot of I
Well, how
believe
do they know
trout
you're not
and
targeting
potentially.
carp?
You got a little.
I'm asking real questions here.
I mean, I guess
Your cooler potentially.
I don't know.
Whatever's in your cooler?
my stream,
Okay,
there was little native trouts on there and
Well,
some bluegill already.
Yeah, like so if I go to Alondra where they stock trout, but there's also carp, am I allowed to fish with corn there?
Nobody's gonna give you crap at
I
Alondra.
don't think
They're not going to give me crap, but they might give you crap, Charlie. Can Charlie fish with corn there?
Probably not. Probably not. I'm gonna go with the no. That's gonna be my answer.
Alondra's probably not a place where they're gonna hassle you for corn. He's probably talking about like a big lake, right?
Yeah, mostly game warden. Some places you're gonna see the actual game warden. Those are gonna be the places where they'll.
So remember, guys, if you're gonna go to a big lake where there's game warden, don't fish corn.
Shit, another time I got caught doing that was in Piru Creek. That's this creek that leads out of the back of Pyramid that runs. It's called Piru Creek because it actually runs into Piru Lake from the back of Pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not knowing, just a kid back there fishing, and I was
Just
using
a kid
corn.
back there poaching.
Just a kid back there poaching, and I was using corn, and the game warden came up to me. I'll never forget this. He came up to me and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing back here?" And I was like, "Oh, just fishing, in this one little hole." He's like, "What are you using for bait?" And I remember at this point I already knew. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
salmon eggs. He's like, "Oh." He's like,
power
"Oh,
bait.
I've never seen yellow salmon eggs before."
You'd have been better off saying corn and pretending you didn't know.
He came down to
Yeah.
me. He's like, look, I understand what you're doing. And he goes, obviously, you're not supposed to be using corn, but go ahead and tear them up. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah,
That's cool.
So back then,
Yeah,
they
letting a kid be a
didn't
kid.
really trip as much. Yeah, they were, we were kids. I was maybe 7 years old,
So here's the science behind corn. I believe the outer shell on corn, that skin of corn, the fish can't digest it, so it just piles up in their stomach, and then that overfills them, and then they die that way. However, you can use hominy. Hominy is corn without the skin, so they can digest hominy. So there you go. If you want to use a corn-like substance, I believe you can legally use hominy.
So you can't even use corn for carp then, right?
I almost want to say no. Okay, here it is. Here's my producer. He's coming in right here. We looked this up. Please, here.
There he is.
About the internet and Google. And all
First of all, this is my favorite podcast guest right here.
Right?
Google and all that kind of stuff.
It has to be a part of the show now.
With corn.
It's an intervention.
Okay, go.
Corn is permitted as bait for carp and any other species of fish in any type of inland waters where bait is allowed.
Okay.
That goatee is.
I am using corn tomorrow.
So where bait is allowed.
I mean, they have fake corn
Anywhere
bait.
where bait is allowed.
Well, I think
kinds
a
of
lot of
fake
those
bait.
lakes, there's no bait allowed, right?
Oh, interesting.
Yosemite, it's artificials and barbless. So
Well, yeah, and I know a lot of the lakes you're allowed to use bait if it was caught at that lake, but you're not allowed to bring bait in.
well, worms, mealworms. You're thinking about like chovy style or fin bait style. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to fish with goldfish or shiners or anything you get from Petco. So that will wreck an ecosystem.
Oh yeah,
And I have never done that either.
ever in my life.
Why would you even bring it up then?
I was just confirming.
Because-
I just want people to.
Yeah,
confirm. I've never done it.
we want to educate. Yeah, we want to educate the community.
About that, I have a funny story about that goldfish. I had a friend that caught a little, maybe 1.5 pound bass, and he put it in his tank, and he would feed it night crawlers, and then out of nowhere he was like, "Oh shit, it was cheaper just to get goldfish." So he started getting goldfish and feeding the goldfish to the bass, and the bass ended up like getting some kind of like crater on his head.
Yeah, so that's why. So I used to have Oscars, right? It's a type of cichlid, and they don't recommend you feeding them live fish because of the bacteria that they carry.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes sense.
So
Yeah,
if you want to feed
getting
your,
like a hole.
Mhm.
Like a hole in the
it's
top of
called.
his head.
I don't know from the top of my head. It's a type of fungus. So if you do decide to feed your fish live fish like goldfish, you need to isolate them first and then feed them. You can't feed them right away because then you risk like your fish getting fungus.
Makes sense.
There we go.
It's definitely had fun.
Next we're starting a veterinary podcast.
All right. We spent too much time. So, Steve, let's talk about how did you get into tournament fishing?
Funny story, dude. I was hanging out at that tackle shop that I was telling you about it was called Action Tackle. And I was just getting in, like, I had been bass fishing, started like consistently bass fishing now for like couple years now. Never had any intention to do a tournament or anything. And this old man walks in, and old man's name's Mike Waters, and comes in and he's ranting and raving about how his partner dumped him, and he just quit on him after the first tournament. And he just looked over at me. He was like, "Hey, there's a tournament on Saturday. You want to fish?"
Oh, that's
I
cool.
was like, "Fuck it, let's do it." You know, like I mean, shit. What do I have to lose? You know. So
all your free time.
we went out fishing, and on that Thursday, he asked me on a Tuesday. That Thursday, we went out fishing, and we tore up the smallmouth over at Pyramid Lake.
Nice.
I'm thinking, I don't know. You know, I never tournament fished. I used to watch it on TV. You know, growing up as a kid, I used to wake up at 2-3 in the morning to watch the Bassmaster.
I didn't realize there were smallmouth at Pyramid. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, there's some nice ones out there. And so, all right, cool. He's like, oh yeah, we did good. We did good. I don't know what good is. I don't know what bad is. I obviously bad to me would have been catching no fish. Good, we
Yeah.
caught like 7 or 8 fish. So to me, I was like, all right, cool, we did good. So that Saturday comes around, and we start fishing, and we we're kicking ass. We have about, I think, maybe 12 pounds in the boat by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and this is the first tournament I've ever been in, and we're fishing this area, and it has this dock that comes out, and I had my swim bait rod with me, and I just kept like telling him, like, hey, just get me close to that dock, get me close to that dock, and we had our fish already, and he's like, no, we're fishing right here. You don't need to throw that swim bait. So it's an older gentleman, so I kind of understood, respecting. So I kind of just kept fishing. Well, then he broke off, and when he broke off fishing, the boat just started drifting because it was kind of windy that day. The boat just started drifting. It's like you see it, and it just glows in your vision. You just see your whole shot. And so I put my rod down. I grabbed my swim bait rod, and I'm just waiting, counting the seconds as we're just drifting closer and closer.
Yeah.
We get close enough, and I make a cast, and it's just a perfect cast. And on my third crank, I end up catching like a 5.5, 6-pounder, which ended up being like big fish of the tournament. And we ended up taking, I think, second or third place. And from that point on, bro, that's all she wrote. And
it was a wrap.
And that point, it was a wrap, man. I mean, I was just hooked. And any chance I had, I was in the tackle shop talking to one of the tournament guys, and started getting out of my shell and start talking to like the Bill Sementels and the Butch Browns and the Jerry Ballesteros. A lot of the local legends around here, became pretty good, decent. I got to know Don Ivino pretty well through another friend of mine, Nick, and so yeah, just picking their brains and learning it, and just realizing, falling in love more with the hunt, with just figuring out where they're at, what they're doing, like what they're going to react to, any different little change in the weather, any little change in the direction of the wind, just could trigger a bite or just completely turn it off. And that just like, it thrived in me and made me hungry for it. So
yeah, there's something about when you realize the hunt.
Right?
It's the hunt. It's the hunt.
It's pretty cool to be like, it's pretty cool to be like, dude, I think we should throw this. Like, this looks like it's gonna work, and then hook one up. It's like,
boom, mind blowing. So and that's like, to me, it was. I ended up loving pre-fishing more than the actual tournament, because come tournament day, you're so stressed out because you're on that clock, and you're more fishing against that clock than you are anything else. So the pre-fish is, you could start your first 2 days out in the water and not have a clue and be frustrated by day 2 because you hadn't caught a fish come 12 o'clock, and something you just something in there, you see something, you read something, you make a decision, you follow up with it, and then boom, you catch that first fish, and you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm onto something. Then you go around the lake and catch another one, and then catch another one, and it's just, then you get from there, you just you start working on your plan, working on your game plan, figuring out what they're doing, where they're at. And that's the part that just got me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm into hunting as well. So it's kind of relates the same thing. You got to pattern the deer, you got to pattern the animals, you got to do that kind of stuff. And I kind of brought it, when I realized it and understood it, it kind of brought the same concept to fishing. And you're looking at the same thing. You're looking at the terrains. You're looking at vantage points. You're looking at ambush points and all that. But where I was used to looking at it was up on the land, in the mountains, in the canyons, and things like that. And what I realized is it's the same thing, just underwater. Basically what we're doing is we're finding the same areas that I was looking for, where these deer or animals were, is basically what I'm doing, but just underwater. And it's the same layout, the same concept, the same idea. So it really drawed me to it. And I mean, actually kind of took over my life for a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
it does.
Oh, bro, bad, man, bad.
There's also something fun that happens when you switch that mentality from I'm looking to get hooked up to I'm looking to hook up into something big. Like you said, you start hunting, you start searching, you start looking for those conditions.
So And then, and you know, tournament fishing was kind of a blessing, but also a curse. You know, because it kind of puts you always in that mode. It always puts you in that search mode, and the search mode, and the search mode. Like, you know, you can. I realized, like, going out, it was never just go out and go fish. It was like getting frustrated, like catch myself, you know, like an hour in, like, man, where the hell are these fish at? You know, take off, start metering. You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors that go into, you know, into tournament fishing.
And it's interesting that you said, because in the beginning, you know, you're talking about you're looking for this when you're hunting, right? I before I ever got on a boat, it's only from shore, right? So from shore is a little different. We're looking for structure, you know. I mean, on the boat too, but on the
you
boat
also have your routine on shore. You're like,
that's what I'm saying,
spots.
yeah, right. But like how birds can tell you if there's fish, right? It's like a lot of things that you could look for.
There's a bunch of signs out there. I mean, now, you come to it now. It's like some of these guys, like, we'll talk here in the shop, and some of these guys will be like, "Oh man, it's tough out there. I haven't caught some fish," and I'll be like, "Okay, well, I used to fish with some of these guys," and I'll be like, "Well, remember this?" And you know, in my memory, when it comes to fishing, I can remember 10, 20 years ago. Anything else, don't ask me. I can't remember what I did 20 minutes ago.
That is true.
But when it comes to fishing, like, I could put it together. Like today, oh, the weather's this, the wind's coming this. Like, we did this, we started here, and I don't know how I could remember all that, but I could remember. And the guy would be like, "Well, let me see. I'm going out tomorrow." And he'll go out tomorrow. He'll be like, "Dude, how did you remember all that?" It's what I love. It's, you know, it's my passion. You know, when I'm really passionate about something, I really, really do all the research and try to get as much as I can out of it. You know what I mean? And it came with a lot of help. Don't get me wrong, a lot of help from a lot of different people. From, you know, like I said, you know, learning what they're doing, not even so much what they're doing, just different techniques and signs. Like I said, reading the water. You know, I have one guy that taught me how to read the water. You know, and when you say that to certain people, it's like, what do you mean read the water? Like, well, I could get on a body of water without ever being on it, and I could try to, you know, by the color, by the water temperature, the wind direction, you know, depending if there's a current in the lake or not a current in the lake. You know, you take all those factors in, and you could kind of set yourself up with your maps and start picking out key areas that you need to look at, you know, and you put yourself within a mile radius of that key area, and they're going to be around there. You just got to find them. You know, and that's the kind of stuff. So I had a lot of guys that, you know, a lot of mentors that actually, one, let me borrow their boat so that way I could learn how to work the trolling motor. You know, I had one buddy of mine that, I mean, he was always out of town. He worked for the government. He was always out of town. And I mean, I had keys to his boat and keys to his truck. At any time I could go pick up his truck, go pick up his boat, dump it in the water, and just get out there and learn, you know. And
that's a hell of a buddy.
Yeah, I was just about to say,
bro,
I don't think
that's like,
hey, no, let me borrow your boat real quick.
Nope.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro,
know, let me tell you something, Steve. I think I could go to Luke and borrow anything I want,
other than his boat.
But except his boat.
Or the truck. Or the truck.
You could borrow my girl, dog. You could borrow my girl. You could borrow my boat. That's what the old timer used to tell me all the time. You could borrow my wife. You can't borrow my boat. But no, you know what? I was fortunate. I was fortunate.
That's pretty cool, though. Man. That is pretty cool.
I still talk to him. I mean, me and him are super close still to this day. And it's all because, like, what he tells me is he believed in me. He believed that it was something that I could do and something I wanted to do. And I'm super thankful for that, man. Like, I thank him every chance I possibly can. All the guys that helped me throughout you know, this whole time. Even maybe some of the guys you even know, like striper fishing. Big Bass Ron. I don't know if you guys know who Big Bass Ron is. Ron Vickery.
No, we don't. I don't know him.
Yeah, he's on Instagram. He's a local guy here too. I mean, that guy taught me how to search and locate the striper, because those are different fish than largemouth or smallmouth.
It's interesting that you bring that up. So let's dive into. I know we don't have a lot of time, but let's talk about striper fishing. Like, techniques for striper fishing. I don't want to know spots in particular, but
I don't care about spots or anything like that. Anything, bro. Honestly, the way it comes down to it, I could tell you exactly where I'm fishing, what I'm doing, what baits I'm throwing. But you got to have the same cadence. You got to have the same boat position. There's a lot more factors that come into just where you're fishing. Now, don't get me wrong. When they're stacked up and loaded up, then obviously a spot matters because, at that point, anything you throw down there, you're pretty much going to get hooked up.
One thing I'll say about spots real quick, and I use this analogy because people say exactly what you said. I used to surf a lot when I was younger, and I would surf at Sunset Cliffs. There'd be no one out. I told my buddy about it at work, who told his son, who was part of the Malibu Surf Association. The next time I went out, there were 30 kids from the Malibu Surf Association in my uncrowded spot. And so that's just where I get to about spots. It's like, you know what? I could tell you I was on the Long Beach breakwall. It's 8 miles long, 10 miles long, whatever. But if I tell you I was at the lighthouse, I don't want to show up and
it is true. It is true.
I hear you know what, and I hear you on that. Just touch bases on that. I used to be the same way. Like I used to be the same way, not tell anybody where I was at, what I was doing, what I was throwing, or anything of the sort. But a lot of that had to do with some of the mentors I had. With their mentality, kind of like telling me how to be. Yeah. And but then after I started learning, when I fish a spot, it's now with the sonars and the forward facing and all that, you kind of got your spot. You know what I mean? Where you're making that cast. But back when 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when 3 years ago, when hardly anybody had that stuff, there's always a sweet spot within your spot.
Yep. I know exactly what you're saying.
And it takes, like, when I pull up to a spot, I'm not looking to fish the spot. I'm looking to fish that. I'm looking to make those 3 casts where I know I'm going to be able to stick a fish, and then I'll fish my spot. You understand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like you got to kind of know where those sweet spots are in that spot to be able to at least for bass fishing, for the tournament scene and the largemouth scene, you kind of got to be able to know those sweet spots to be able to pull up on someone's area and actually catch the fish they're catching. Now
have you ever fished saltwater striper?
Yeah. I used to do that all the time, bro. From like early like 99 to like 2007, I did all the saltwater. And back then the stripers, if you caught a big one back then, it was like this big. Like we didn't catch like what you guys are catching now or what they're catching up north. Like those stripers didn't even exist. Yeah,
30 pound striper,
30 pound, 25 pounds. Those didn't exist. At least here, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't exist.
I might be.
If you had a 17-inch striper back then, that was a big striper. That was
I might be speaking wrong, but I haven't seen many over the 10-pound mark down here.
No, I know up north. They're catching some toads up there. I know up north they're catching some toads.
What do you mean? We just interviewed somebody about a 30-pound striper
in the salt.
In the salt?
No, not in the salt. No.
That's what I'm saying.
You're talking about saltwater.
I'm talking about the salt. In the salt, you don't seem to have. You've always had the big striper and freshwater out here.
Oh man!
But the striper and the salt don't seem to get much bigger than
10 pounds. Like you catch a good 22-incher in the striper in the ocean now. Good 22, 24-incher in the ocean.
Yeah,
you're looking at 8-10 pounder.
So what's your go-to bait for a striper?
Depends where we're at. If I'm fishing a stock trout, a trout plant like we used to do, sneak into these lakes at night and stuff. We would always throw either big jerk baits. Majority of the time, it was usually a big jerk bait that would get them the best. Of course, we'd also throw our you never really want to throw the slide swimmer and things like that at night because you just risk the chance of losing it. That's an expensive bait. So we never really did that. We would throw a lot of the Spro, the big Spro. A lot of what other baits? We'd get a bunch of just big swim baits and throw those. Anything that was aftermarket or something of that sort. We never really had to concentrate on like the slide swimmers or all the hinkles. I wouldn't even throw those things at the striper.
Something you can afford to lose.
Yeah, exactly. So, but majority of the time it was a long A bomber, man. Big ass long A bomber. That's what we used to throw 90% of the time. And actually, I caught my biggest striper on a fluke on a scrounger head.
Nice.
20.
Oh, funny.
20
Look how my lights. Look how my eyes lit up.
like 26 and a half pounds.
That's
I think it was,
awesome.
something like that.
I'm sorry. Did you say scrounger head or something? Yeah. Scrounger head.
Hey, so Daniel's
Pretty
been
lit.
looking for scroungers. You got scroungers in the shop?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
What sizes you got scroungers now? Uh-huh.
8
You might be
all the way up to 3/8.
You don't have
might
heavies?
be the
You don't carry heavies?
3/4 ounce or
Yeah, I got 8 to 3/8.
3/8.
So no half,
No halves, no
No
3/4.
halves, no halves.
Okay.
Can you get 3/4?
No, I don't think anyone can now.
I don't even think you could get halves.
No,
We had
it's a
3/4
pretty.
at one point.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
no, I think I'm pretty sure I lost them all.
Bass Pro
But yeah,
Shop carries half ounce and 3/4.
How dare you talk about Bass Pro right now? Charlie, I'm giving you the 3-minute warning. We got 3 minutes left on the show.
So anyways, I really want to touch on this event that you have. I don't know, are you still having it with the kids? Do you still have it?
Which one?
The one where
We
you
do
guys
that
have the trout stuff?
Oh, so that's not our event.
Oh,
That's not
okay.
our event. We go out and help with that event. That's actually a Friends
Gotcha.
of Mistakes event that they put
Okay.
on every year. They've been dude. I've been helping with that event since not probably 99.
I honestly thought it was your event.
No. It's their event. We just donate our time, go out there and help out the kids with the fish cleaning and try to help them out to catch the fish and things like that. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a cool event though, man. It's definitely something when I started the shop was one of my priorities of making sure that we were going to be a part of, because like I said, obviously everybody opens a business. We all open businesses for a certain reason, you know what I mean? But when it's your passion,
Fame and fortune.
Exactly. I want to be like this guy. I want to be like him.
So real
but
quick,
when it's your passion,
yeah. No, go. Yeah, your passion.
When it's your passion, like I said, I enjoy helping. I enjoy getting someone on their first fish or getting them on their next
man, it's
fish,
always
or
a good
getting them
feeling.
on their different type of species. You know what I mean? Like this last year we did a bunch of tuna trips with guys that never even caught tuna in their life, and I was on 2 of the trips and I never even put a freaking bait in the water because I was just sitting there watching all these kids and their dads just having the time of their life catching, they were only catching, 30, 40 pounders, but dude, those are fun size, those are the perfect size for these guys to
that's all I need. Shoot.
I've never caught a tuna before.
I'll say 2
You
things.
gotta come
Number
out with
one,
us this year, man.
it's awesome to see someone hook into their first tuna.
I'm pretty sure it's a stoke,
When you watch someone hook into their first tuna, it's really cool. But I was on a particular trip and a guy caught, it was like a 25-pound tuna. It wasn't a 30. And he started crying. And he told the deckhand, he said, my dad passed away about 2 years ago, and I grew up fishing with him. And if he would have never thought that we'd be in Southern California this time of year catching bluefin tuna. And I can totally feel my dad right now.
Yeah,
dude.
And it's cool when you get those, you get those moments,
Dude, it's funny you say that shit because like 4 years ago I was on a 5-day trip and the fishing was tough. I mean, it was tough. They were out there, but we couldn't get them to bite.
Mm-hmm. Bluefin being bluefin.
This one night, what's that?
Bluefin being bluefin.
Oh yeah, and so we're out there, and the giants were out there. My biggest at the time was 110 pounds, I think it was, and I'm just like stoked just to be out there, seeing these giants just chasing these fish, jumping out of the water, and they just decide to set the kite out. And when they set the kite out, man, it must have been 40 seconds to a minute tops. and you just see this giant just come out of the water and just eat the kite bait, and they pull a number. The first number they pull just so happened to be mine, bro. And that thing took me for a spin. It was 209, bro. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember that same feeling. Like, I remember we brought that fish on board, and I remember just sitting there looking at it like damn, never. And like, I remember seeing my dad when we'd go on boats, as a kid, we'd go, out of Marina Del Rey, back when El Nino, back in the 90s and all that. They were catching Dorado out of Marina Del Rey. We were catching them right on the patties out of Marina Del Rey. We were catching white sea bass out of Marina Del Rey. And I remember
catching yellowtail at the ship pipe.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember watching my dad catching these white sea bass. And I remember guys on the boat that year talking about like, oh man, the tuna and the Dorado are going to be here big, thick this year. And as a kid, you don't even understand what they're talking about, but it was just like when I sat there and saw this fish on the deck, just bleeding out, and it brought back that memory. And it was just like, I understand what you said. You saw that guy. It's like, I broke down just like, damn, like not in a sad way. Like, it was actually in a happy, fun, like,
that's exactly how that guy was.
Like, it was like, what if, like, and it was actually a cool feeling.
Well, shit, the day I caught my 8-pounder, I almost cried.
Yeah, bro. Trust me.
No.
When I caught my 11-pound bass, bro.
He did cry.
I caught my 11-pound bass, bro.
Man, it was a fish. For me, it was a fish that
fish of a lifetime.
I never thought I would. Yeah, I never thought I would get, but I got it. So, real quick, PBs. What's your PB fresh? Like your largemouth?
PB largemouth, 11 pounds.
Gee, nice.
11 pounds out of Pyramid.
Yeah. Dude, 11 pounds. I think Luke saw Shannon pull out a what? 6?
7.
7. And imagine 11 pounds.
Almost pull it out.
Yeah.
Almost pull it out. He had it by the mouth too.
Those are.
I've never seen a fish reverse like that.
Well, of that, I've had bigger fish. I mean, in my hands, and then like the hook get me, and I let go of the fish, and it's been down. Like
I watched him. I watched him grab it by the mouth, and it just put it in reverse, and it was like,
oh yeah.
What about striper?
My PB striper is 20, I think 26 and a half, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah.
At Castaic on a like I said, a scrounger head and a little not a tiny fluke, the super fluke. I just saw a school fish swimming under the boat, bro.
Oh, like the 8-inch fluke or the 7?
No,
zoom, right? The 7-inch zoom
one. That's a 4-inch. The 4-inch fluke.
Okay.
So yeah, I was just about to say about that 4-inch range, fluke.
Are you fishing? Are you fishing it fast? Like, are you fishing it fast?
Yeah, I was fishing. Yeah, striper. Anything I throw for striper, man, I'm fishing it pretty fast.
Okay. Cool.
Because those fish are always moving. They're always hunting. Everybody has their own different way of fishing. For certain species or whatever it is. To me, striper, from what I was taught, like I said, I was taught by this guy, Big Bass Ron, Ron Vickery, and I was also taught by Potts Local, John Potts, and those guys are, super phenomenal. The John Potts guides out of Pyramid and Castaic. We get you on striper pretty much all year round. The guy's really good with striper, but everybody fishes different. But to me, I've always seemed to get better bites and more bites. Fishing it fast, not giving those fish time. They tend, they're always moving. Those fish don't ever. Very rarely, or have I seen an actual striper just hovering over under a dock or in a shade line or something. Those fish are always on the hunt, and they're always hunting. So, I tend to always fish fast, something getting away from them. So when I caught my 26 and a half, I hooked one. I don't know the weight of it, but it dwarfed my 26 and a half. And I lost one the cast right before at the boat because it didn't fit in the net. We tried to get it in the net twice. Tried to get it in the net twice, and then you have to take it. I was fishing on a 10-pound test.
What?
Yeah. We were bass fishing, bro. I saw the school under the boat, and I just made a cast. And
that's insane.
First cast, just started bumping it, boom, 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 boom. Then he just ate it, brought it to the boat, was trying to get in the net, popped off, swam, followed up with the next cast, didn't even retire, nothing, caught the 26 and a half. And the only reason we got
That's
that
crazy.
it went head first into the net. We were able just to throw it on the deck.
Dude, that's insane.
Just
That's like
jumping right in.
you gotta be there to see it.
Yeah.
But Steve, thank you very much, brother.
Hey,
we
guys.
appreciate you
Appreciate
coming
you
on.
guys having me on.
Hopefully soon we could do something at the shop, you know.
Anytime, man. If you
Stop
guys
by the shop and do some stuff.
Yeah, if the guys have another event down at your shop, we'll probably be there.
Yeah.
Anytime you guys want to come through, if you guys ever want to do a live here, anything like that, brother, the shop's open to you guys, man.
Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Always.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We
And
appreciate it.
Still waiting for some baits.
Actually,
Hey,
before I
Daniel,
know,
man, you better get
I
on
know,
it, bro.
I'm pouring baits right now. I know.
You guys
I'm gonna
can
be
talk
up there
about
soon,
this offline. But with that being said, fellas, thank you guys for tonight. We love you guys for the support.
Charlie, stop. He's trying to show the bait.
Oh, all right.
No, I haven't poured anything. I've been pouring a new
never
color
mind.
for
Keep going,
Waterman's.
Charlie. Keep going.
Yeah. I haven't even poured
With that
anything.
being
I'm
said-
working on it.
What fuels us all is our love for fishing. Love you guys. Peace. Thank you guys. Steve, thank you again, man.
Appreciate
See you guys on the next
Thank
one.
you.
That was a ton of fun. We're gonna have you back on to go a deeper dive into striper.
We got to get deeper into this conversation, bro. We just
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Next
All right,
one's at
man.
the shop. Peace out.
Later.
Brother.
Later, Steve.